Hi folks, this is Ray speaking, and as you know, I'm a system administrator, and today I would like to address a habit that we have. And it goes like... And it happens to happen when we do that. We're usually looking at log files, and we just found out one IP address is pesting our systems. So let's do something against it, shall we? What we see here is my terminal server. It's got its port 22 exposed. Yes, you guessed it right. This is the SSH daemon. So what's happening here is an automated program tries to crack the password. I mean, I'm not overly concerned because you can't log in as root using a password, but that's not the problem here. The problem is this is an automated program torturing my server because this one has to fork the SSH daemon, do some work, and finally deny it. So, you know, what can we do about that? So, what can we do about those nasty IPs? Well, what I would do at first is look at the log files, parse them in some way, and find a way to block them. If I'm lazy, I could just use fail to ban. But the problem is fail to ban was written about 10 years ago, and it didn't have something in mind like me running 10 machines. Because if somebody wants to crack one server, they will probably go over the whole IP range, and there is absolutely no cool way to really sync it quickly. I mean, think about it like this. Somebody who is trying to hack your server won't be one of your customers. It's like, you know, you throw in a window at a shop, you're not gonna buy something there, I guess it. So I want to introduce you to a pretty interesting concept called Crowdsec, which is I'd call it a multiplayer version of fail to ban, which takes the IP addresses collected all over the world and shares them with you, so you can block the nasty IP addresses way ahead, outnumbering the bad guys. We're here at the Crowdsec website. As you can see, they are hosted on GitHub, and they even run a Discord community, a quite active one. And if you've got questions, I'm hanging out there, so feel free to drop by and ask me some questions. I will be there. So, point is, they also have a very good documentation that's hosted on their site here. And yeah, also using Package Cloud, that's cool. And this is the script to install the repository. We'll be doing that on Debian because, you know, me and Debian, look there, we've got some Debian machine install stuff there. So I guess that's interesting for you. And how does Crowdsec exactly work? You get the console, and there are more parts than that. There is an agent. An agent is a program that parses the log files. What logs can you feed to them? I'd say web server logs, pretty common. SSH daemon. I feed my Nextcloud logs to them. Also got some Home Assistant logs. You name it. And if you want to have something special, open a ticket on GitHub. I think those nice guys will help you out with that. And then you've got a bouncer. A bouncer is, yeah, as name says it, the guy who's standing in front of the nightclub saying, "Nope, you're not entering there," with a slight Turkish accent. Just kidding. And the point is, the bouncer is either generating lists or feeding IP tables or feeding other block lists, and they are automating the blocking for you. My bouncer runs on the web server, outputting a list, which I then happily integrate in my pfSense. Okay, let's go. So after this is done, we've got a systemd service here, which got installed by the package manager here. Very important, you might want to run the wizard.sh -c because that way you can customize what's being parsed and so on. If we just run this, you can check the services that you want to monitor. Keep in mind it's looking at the defaults here, so nothing special. I'm gonna say continue, and we are ready to go. And these are the collections that you might want to parse. And as you see, there is a lot going on. I've already spotted the SQL Server, Windows Firewall, OpenSense, Godify, Nextcloud, and stuff like that. And those are pre-selected based on the log files found on your computers. If you are pressing continue here, that stuff gets configured and you get a bonus list on top, which is the Crowdsec whitelist. Whitelist is a list of IP addresses that aren't being banned. I mean, I'll just leave it in there. It's a good thing not to just shoot at everything on site, right? And then we just confirm it and we give it the log files and we are good to go. If you wanna check the log files or add some more log files like I did on my web server, the configuration for those are in etc Crowdsec, and it's the Acquis YAML file. It looks like that, and it's pretty easy to understand, I'd say. Save, restart, and you are ready to go. So about the bouncers, how to install them, please take that from the documentation, and there are so many cases. The IP tables bouncer, you just install it and it's pretty much good and done. But Crowdsec wouldn't be Crowdsec if there wasn't something like an absolute cool dashboard where you can look at the things happening. I'll just scroll here. So you can really dig into your data and have a look what's hammering your server. But is it worth it? Let me show you something. I did graph my servers, and this is the CPU of my hypervisor running all the machines together. And this was the day where I installed Crowdsec. The background load or idle load in normal operations, as I would call it, was around 30%, and it went down to roughly 15. So that's amazing. Please disregard those spikes. That's just me compiling stuff and playing around on the game servers. So that's not really something to take into account. But I have to say, it's pretty impressive, the amount of background noise, the hammering on the web server, the other services I'm running. So that's pretty impressive. That's worth it. That's worth installing Crowdsec. That's for today's video, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I did, and if you made it that far, I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button, leave a comment, or even subscribe to the channel. And if you are really awesome, join the Discord of Crowdsec or even my own one, and we can talk about security and Linux a little bit more.